Hi everyone, in today's session we will learn about file connector in Mule 4, how to use it, how we can perform different operations using file connector, and in the last we will cover one real-time use case sending data from file connector to database as well as from database to file connector. So it will be a bidirectional integration between both of them. Okay guys, so let me show you the agendas of today's session. So in today's session, these are the list of topics which we are going to cover. So first we will cover what is file connector, different operations using file connector, POC on all those different operations. Okay, in my Anypoint Studio, I will run all those operations one by one and show you how those works as a part of file connector. In the last, we will cover one real-time use case in which we will sync data from database to file and from file to database, so it will be a bidirectional sync between them. Okay guys, so let's get started with the first one. What is file connector? So guys, it's the simple definition. So it's an endpoint connector for file manages files and folders on locally mounted file system. Okay, it's basically a connector which manages files locally, which what and all operations you want to perform on those files or folders, you can do it with the help of this file connector. So that's the simple definition, and on the right hand side you can also see how it looks like in the Mule palette when you drag and drop in your Anypoint Studio. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So guys, these are the list of different operations which we are going to perform in Anypoint Studio are a part of file connector. Okay, so read, write, delete, create directory, rename, copy, move, list, and new, on, new, updated. So these all operations we will perform one by one. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Okay, so let's go to the Anypoint Studio and start with the POCs. So guys, this is the demo file connector Mule project I have already created. Okay, so if I open this file, so I have configured all the different use cases to make you familiar with all the different operations we have as a part of file connector. So you can see copy, create directory, delete, list, move, on, new, updated. So all these operations we will perform one by one, so that if you encounter if you need to use any operations in your real-time projects, you will be able to use them easily. Okay, that's why I'm covering all these operations. Okay, so guys, let me bit before that, let me show you the configurations which I did. So this is the listener. It acts like a source from where our flow will get triggered. Okay, so its endpoint name is UC1 and the configurations are HTTP localhost 8081. Okay guys, so if I click on OK, okay, now I will click on read connector. Okay, so this is the file which we're going to read. So this test.csv is a part of this test directory. Let me show you. Okay, so because the file names are changed, I will create one new file named as, or I will simply give it this file name so that it will read this file easily. Okay, so it's a CSV file. All the data in the file is written in CSV format. So I will save it. Okay, and I will deploy this application in debug mode. So our application has been deployed. Let me trigger this flow from Postman. Yes, this is the endpoint name, host is localhost, and port is 8081. So let me trigger this flow. So it will simply read that file, convert that CSV data into the JSON and log it basically. Okay, so let me show you. what will be the data? So we got the data in CSV format. Now we will change it to the JSON. Okay, so you can see how we got the data in JSON format. Okay, so we have array of 3 objects. Okay, so if I click on next, it will log that data in the console. Okay, so guys, that's the simple definition of this read connector. Let's move on to the next operation, which is write. So in this operation, we're going to write one file. The file name is test1.csv. Okay, this file we will write under this test directory. Okay, and write mode we have given as override. So next time if you will try to write on the same file, it will override the previous content. Okay, and this is the database connector from where we are fetching the information. Let me open that database MySQL workbench so I can show you the data. I've put the password, click OK, and you can see I've got that database name as employee, and in the employee database I have this information table in which we have all the information about the employees. So if I run this query, you will get all this data, all these employee data. So same employee data we are going to fetch from this information table, which is a part of this employee database, okay, in our Anypoint Studio. And we will transform that data into the JSON format and write it into the file, and the file name is test1.csv. Okay guys, so let's trigger this flow, okay, and see how it works. But before that, let me show you the database configurations which I did. So if I click on this edit, so JDBC driver I have configured. Okay, so how to configure JDBC driver, you can watch my previous video in which I have covered each and everything about database connector, how to configure it, how to test it, how we are performing those different operations. Okay, host I have configured it as localhost, port is this, root, password, and database name. Okay, I click on OK. Now I will trigger this flow and see the write operation, and this time the endpoint name is EUC2. Configurations are same, but endpoint names are different. Why? Because I want to cover different use cases. That's why I've created same configurations but different endpoints having different flows. So I will trigger this flow now. Okay guys, so now it will query that database, that information table from the employee database and fetch all that information. Okay, let me click next. Okay, we got all the information in a JSON format. Okay, so you can see name, this name, and this name all are matching with the one, this one. Okay, so now it will simply write which file, test1.csv. Okay, so it has written successfully. Let's see if it has written it or not. Let me show you. So you can see guys, this file has been written successfully, and what and all data we have in the database, it's the same data: ID, name, age column, city column, department, and all the 3 rows. And similarly you can see here column name, city, name, ID, department, age, and all the 3 rows we have ID as 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so guys, that's how this write connector works. Okay, let's move on to the next operation. Now guys, we will see how this rename connector works. Okay, so this is the flow I have created for understanding the rename connector, how you can rename files with the help of this connector. Okay, so before triggering this flow, let me show you what and all configurations I did. Okay, so guys, this is the file path which I have given, and the file name which I want to rename, and this is the new file name which I want to give. or let's say you want to give it like let's say this is the file name, okay, which I want to give. So it will change this file name to this one. Okay, so if I save it, let it deploy. Okay, so this is the directory which I am pointing to. Okay, so this is the one. So I'm going to rename this file. Okay, but I think this file is not there, so let me change that file name here so that it will change this file to this file name. Okay, so I will change it to, okay, so it will change this file to this file name. Let's save it. So our application has been deployed. Let me trigger this flow. Okay, now it will rename it. It's saying this file doesn't exist. Let me check once. Okay, so it's a simple file, it's not even a text file. That's the reason it is not detecting it. Okay, so if I remove this extension, it will work, guys. Okay, let me resume it. Okay, so now if I trigger this flow again, so it works. Okay, so if I go to that directory again, sorry, not this one, this one. So you can see it has renamed to friends file name. Okay, so guys, that's how this rename connector works. Okay, let's move on to the next operation, which is delete. How you can delete a particular file. So now we will try to delete this file. Okay, so guys, as you can see, the file has been deleted successfully. So this was the file which was available in this test directory. Now if we go there and check, this file is no longer available. Okay, so you can see, so these the copy of this file is available, but not this file. Okay, not this file, because it has deleted successfully. Okay, so that's how this delete connector works, guys. Let's move on to the next operation, copy. Okay, so from the operation name only, it is clear, it will create a copy of whatever directory path you will give. It will create a copy of that in whatever target location you will give. Okay, so let me give it a source path. Let's say this test is the source path. I have selected it as test, and a target path I will give it as, because this copy target path is already available, you can see, so I will rename it copy abc. Okay, so in this file I want to copy all this content which is present in the test. Okay, so I will select that directory again, copy abc. Okay, and after copying whatever content available in the test directory to the copy abc, I want to rename it to copy test. Okay, so let's see it works or not. I will save it and let it deploy. So this time the endpoint name is uc5. It's the fifth operation, that's why. I trigger this flow. So guys, let me show you. So you can see that whatever contents were available in this test has been copied to this folder. Then the folder name is copy test, because we have renamed it. You can see After copying whatever content is available in this source path, we have copied that content including that directory name into the copy abc, and that directory name, that test directory name, we have renamed it to copy test. So that's why we can see the directory name as copy test under this copy abc directory. Okay, so guys, that's how this copy operation works. Let's move on to the next operation, which is move. So from this operation name also it is clear. If you want to move your whatever files you have into some other directory, then you can perform with the help of this move or connector operation. Okay, so I will give the source path as uh, this test. Okay, and target path as move. So let's see if that move folder is there or not. So it is there, but it has file. Let me remove that file also, so that we can see clear data. Okay, and after moving I want to rename that directory to file moved. So let me save it, let it deploy. And this time the endpoint name is uc6. Okay, so if I click next, now if we go there, so you can see all the content has been moved. Okay, successfully. Let's move on to the next operation, which is create a directory. Let's say if you want to create any directory, or let's say this is the directory you want to create under this G drive, then you can create it with the help of this create directory operation. So I've saved it, and the endpoint name is uc7. I will give it as uc7. So this flow has been triggered successfully. So if I, so which directory name do I want to create? So this one. If I click next, if we check again, so you can see guys that directory has been created successfully. You can see. So that's how this created directory works. So guys, let's see how this on new or updated file connector works. So to understand this, I have configured one directory path. You can see under G drive I have this folder name as copy abc, and under that I have this directory as copy test. Okay, and these are the configurations which you can do for filter any of the content you want based on whatever use case you have. So in my case I have added one condition that that file should be updated in the last 20 seconds. Only that we need that file. Only in that case we need that file. Okay, based on the polling frequency, and this is the polling frequency you can set. Okay, so after every 10 seconds it will trigger this flow. Okay, and this is the matcher condition you can set, that whatever file we will get, it should be updated in the last 20 seconds. Otherwise we don't need that file. Basically it will not you will not get that file. Why? Okay, so let me show you that directory which I am pointing to. So guys, this is the one, copy abc. In that we have this directory as copy test. We have three different files. So guys, I will try to modify any one of the file and see if this flow gets triggered or not. Okay, so let's say if I open this file in the notepad and try to modify this as from age 32 to 99 and try to save it. Let's see, I've saved it, and let's see if it gets triggered or not here in the studio. So guys, you can see our flow gets triggered. And what is the file name which we have modified? You can see the file name also. Okay, so guys, that's how it works. Okay, and in the logs you will see that 99 which we have modified. So whatever file will be updated, and based on the matcher condition, based on that filter, I want to pick only that file which has been modified in the last 20 seconds. So I've got that file because it was modified in the last 20 seconds and no other file was modified in that time frame. So that's why I got that file. Okay, and we got that file also, file content also, which we have modified. Okay, let's see another time. If I try to modify this file, what will happen? Or let's say if I try to modify the name. Okay, I have written this name. Let's see. So guys, you can see our flow gets triggered. Okay, and this time the file is this one which we have modified just now. You can see. And what content we have now. So you can see whatever name I have modified, we got that name. Okay, so guys, that's how it works. Okay, so there is one last operation which is left now, which is list. How you can list all the files which are present in a particular directory. So guys, let me show you that operation also. So this time the endpoint name is uc10. Okay, so we need to configure that directory name from the directory from where we want to list all those files names. Okay, so I've given this directory name because in this directory we have 4 files. Okay, so I will save it, add one logger here and give it as payload. I'll put the debugger point. Okay, I will deploy my application. Now I will trigger this flow. Okay, so because guys I have put the debugger points here, so let me remove the okay, so let me stop this flow because otherwise it will work in a parallel manner. Okay, let me stop this flow. Okay, so now let me trigger this. So guys, you can see we have got all the 4 files. Okay, 1 2 3 4, which are a part of this copy test directory. Okay, let me show you. So these are the 4 files which this list connector has listed. Okay, you can see. So this is the file name, the first file. This is the first file. This is the second file, you can see. And this is the third file. And this is the fourth one. Here it is. So guys, that's how this list connector works. So one by one we have covered all the operations. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. We have covered all the 9 operation, guys. Okay, so I hope you understood everything about all the file connector operations. Okay, how they works. Okay, so as we discussed before, in the last we will cover one final use case where we will sync data between a database and file bi-directionally. Okay, so let's cover that use case as well. So database to file we already have. So whatever data is written in that database connector, we will write it into this file, whatever file name I have given here. Okay, but from file to database, how we can do that? Okay, for that we need to create one separate flow. Let's create one separate file first. Database file bi-directional. Okay, so I will click on finish. First I will copy this flow name and paste it here. Similarly, I will paste it here. So database I will keep in the end now, and this one I will keep it as in the starting. This time instead of write, I will use a read, because we need to read from that particular file and write it into the database. Okay, this time you endpoint name I will give it as 11, and here I will give it as 12. Okay, so I'm going to read the same file in which I'm going to write the data from the database. So I will give the same file name here in the read also. I will rename these listener names. Okay, so in this flow it will going to write whatever data is available in the database to this file. In the second flow it will send whatever data is available in this file to the database. Okay, but because the data is same in this file as well as this file, because the path is same, so duplicate data will not get created in the database because IDs are all unique. Okay, so guys, I'm going to change this directory path to some other directory. Let's say that directory is tests. Okay, like this. Okay, so that duplicates will not get created. Okay, so instead of select operation this time I'm going to write insert operation. So for insert operation we need that insert connector. Okay, I will delete this, and database configurations I will configure, and here I will write one insert query. So I will write insert into information, because information is the table name I have in my MySQL workbench. Now I will provide the values, what and all values I want to insert. Okay, so I want to insert ID, name. Let's see what and all columns we have: ID, name, age, city, and department. And I want to insert them dynamically, so I will provide the values. First one is ID, second one is name, third one is age, fourth one is city, and fifth one is department. Okay guys, and here I'm going to provide those values. Dynamically. First one is ID, which is payload.id. I will provide it in the payload dot id. Second one is name. Okay, payload dot name. Third one is age. Fourth one is city. And the last one is department. Okay, so guys, these are the list of values which we have given. Okay, so I'm going to create this file so that I can insert that same record into the database. Okay, I will create this folder first, which is test. Okay, and simply paste one of the Excel files into it. And give it a name with whatever name I've given here. Okay, okay, so I've given that name here. So this file I'm going to read and write it into the database. So let me open this file and give some unique values. Yes, I'm going to insert only one record. So because there are only 3 records already inserted having ID as 1, 2, 3. So here I will give ID as 4 so that it will not create any duplicates. And name I will give it as, okay, this is some random name I have given. Okay, so I will change this to 27. I will save it. Okay, so we our read file, this file is ready to read. I will put some debugger point here also, and here also. So let's deploy this application and see our bidirectional integration between database and file connector. Okay, so this is the endpoint 11, this is endpoint 12. So I'm going to sync from database to file first. Okay, so I'm going to trigger this flow first. Okay, so our application is already deployed, so let me trigger this flow. Flow has triggered. Okay, we got the data of all the 3 records. We converted it into the JSON. Okay, we got the JSON, and now we will going to write into the file. File name is test1.csv, which is a part of this test directory. So our file has written successfully, guys. So you can see all the data is written from this database. Okay, so our database to file connector is working successfully. So guys, the application has been deployed. Now we will see the reverse operation when we will transfer the data from a file after reading it to the database. Okay, so let me trigger this flow. Okay, so we have performed the read operation. We got the data in the CSV format. If I click next. Okay, so this is the data we got. So guys, the data has been successfully inserted into the database. So let's go to the database and see. So if I refresh this query again, so you can see our 4th row has been inserted successfully. So guys, with this we have successfully performed the bidirectional integration between file connector and database. So initially we have transferred the data from our database to the file. We have tried writing into the file whatever data we got from the database, and in the second try we read the data from a file and send it to the database, which you just saw here. Okay, so thanks everyone. I hope you understood everything about this session on file connector. If you have any queries, you can email us, you can comment us. Okay, see you soon guys, bye.